Hello, me again. Sadiq Khan tweeted, "To anyone planning to join Black Lives Matter protests over the coming days, for you and your family's safety, please stay at home and find a safe way to make your voice heard." Well, apart from the grammatical errors, I'm okay with that. It's the next bit which really got up my nose. To the extreme far-right groups hijacking this crucial cause, Londoners have no time for your hatred. So there you have it. This is the wrath of Khan. Who are these so-called extreme far-right groups? This includes veteran groups, and the veteran groups and veterans themselves have reacted with absolute disgust at Sadiq Khan referring to them as far-right thugs. Who gives him the right? Khan brands them as far-right in an attempt to discredit them. But they are just honest, law-abiding citizens, including the veterans, who want to defend our national monuments from the indiscriminate and criminal vandalism of the far-left thugs who say that they are destroying our heritage in the name of freedom and equality. The Mayor of London supports this criminality, these criminals, and makes disparaging and slanderous comments about the law-abiding protectors of our heritage. Surely he should be sacked for that alone. And who do you think you're kidding, Mr. Khan, with this amateurish attempt at discreditation? Far-right thugs? Well, compared with the extreme alt-left Marxist, racist Black Lives Matter organisers, even the Liberal Party look far-right. And note I said organisers. The Black Lives Matter supporters are, in the main, fair-minded liberals who believe that what they are doing is fighting for justice and racial equality. Sadly, they are ignorant, uneducated fools who are being hoodwinked by an organisation that has a dangerous political agenda. This has nothing to do with Black lives. This is about a dangerous organisation using racial hatred to destroy our social cohesion and create chaos. Like many Marxists before them, they want to rewrite history. And tearing down statues of historical figures is akin to burning books. And if you don't understand the historical significance of that, please look it up. Take a look at the Black Lives Matter UK GoFundMe UK page and see what their stated aims are. Amongst other things, they want to dismantle capitalism, which is, of course, a Marxist philosophy and proves their alt-left credentials. And Marxism hasn't done much for the people of China, North Korea, Venezuela, the former USSR, nor any other country that has tried it or anything similar. Poor people do a lot better in capitalist countries than they do in communist or totalitarian countries. So what else does BLM want to do? Yeah, they want to dismantle white supremacy. What is that? Well, it's frankly a racist concept that only exists in political rhetoric and not in the real world. They are bent on dividing the communities, on destroying whatever cohesion there is. They are shit-stirring under the guise of anti-racism, but they are using stupid lies that stupid virtue-signaling useful idiots might actually believe because they want to believe it, such as the claim by BLM that the coronavirus is racist. How the hell can a virus be racist? It has no self-awareness. It's a virus. If black people are more susceptible, could it be because of genetics? I genuinely don't know. But I do know that blacks are more prone to heart problems and sickle cell disease, so it's a possibility worth looking at. If there is a second peak amongst the ethnic minorities, will they blame it on white supremacism, which would be ludicrous, or will they accept that being crammed together with a few thousand other people during a demonstration might have something to do with it? Be that as it may, the statement from Black Lives Matter on their GoFundMe page says that black people are dying at up to 4 times the rate of their white counterparts. This is racism. That statement is just ridiculous. It's just shit-stirring again and does nothing for social cohesion. And as for white supremacy, in the USA they have affirmative action. This is legislation to help redress the disadvantages associated with past and present discrimination. It represents a desire to ensure public institutions such as universities, hospitals and police forces are more representative of the populations that they serve. It is a noble aim and helps to dismiss the myth of white supremacy. In the UK, we have Music of Black Origin Awards, Black Police Federation, Muslim-only housing associations, Black History Month. The police have courses to help candidates pass their police exams, but white people aren't allowed on those courses. The BBC recruits using an agency for ethnic minorities only. White people need not apply. These things are done without the need for legislation in this country, but because the British establishment is at heart egalitarian. If white people do better in the face of the advantages given to the ethnic minorities, whose fault is that? White supremacy is a myth. If you are a member of a minority group and you believe in white supremacy and you believe that you are limited by the actions of white people, then you truly believe in white supremacy. If you believe in white supremacy, then you must believe in minority inferiority. You can't believe in white supremacy unless you believe in minority inferiority. If you say it's white people's fault that I'm not rich, that I can't get a job, that just means that you believe that you are inferior. If you start out by believing that everything is someone else's fault, you will never make yourself better. You'll just give up. It's a great excuse for failure. If you start out by believing that you can't, then you won't. What you should do is look to yourself and stop blaming others. Get off your backsides and work hard. Whites who succeed, and there are many who don't, but whites who succeed just get on and do what's necessary. Jews, the most persecuted people on the planet, just work hard and get on with building their lives, and they just look at what they have achieved, despite the missiles and firebombs from their neighbours, despite the worldwide anti-Semitism and slander. Many members of black and other races also do well because they make the right choices, and they often come out on top. They are up there as doctors, engineers, actors, singers, politicians. The minorities are well represented in the British Parliament, for example. Our Chancellor and our Home Secretary both have their origins in the Indian subcontinent. The previous Shadow Home Secretary is black. The previous Chancellor was a Muslim. The current Shadow Secretary of State for Justice and Shadow Lord Chancellor is black. The Secretary of State for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy is Indian. The Shadow Foreign Secretary is part Indian. The Shadow Secretary of State for Housing is part Sri Lankan Tamil. These are key positions at the heart of government. They have their hands on the tiller of power. If the UK was as racist as Black Lives Matter and race baiters like Khan would have you believe, how come so many ethnic minorities are in the very seat of government? Indeed, how come Khan is mayor of our capital city? Which brings me to local government. Non-white mayors abound in our large cities, including the race-baiting, far-left, worse-than-useless mayor of London. Is this white supremacy in action? Britain is arguably the most welcoming country in the world and has been for decades. But when that welcome is abused, don't be surprised when an indignant population will make its feelings known. Love of country has nothing to do with race or skin colour. It has everything to do with education. There are still problems of racism, and we need to do better. But the laws are already there, and have been for decades, albeit in need of some fine-tuning. What you can't legislate for, however, is people's attitude. The problem is in people's minds. What is needed is education. And by education, I do not mean the indoctrination of white kids into feeling ashamed of being white. That is wholly inappropriate and divisive, not to say treacherous. It is also racist, but it is happening in our schools and universities today. Attitudes have to change, and that has to happen on both sides. And having supremacist organizations like Black Lives Matter stirring up the muck is not the answer. The hatred has to stop. And that won't happen when one side blames the other for all its ills and tries to destroy the heritage of the other. That just feeds the enmity, which is, of course, what the Black Lives Matter organizers want. And the reality is that Black Lives Matter is not about racial equality. It's about subjugation, chaos, anarchy, control, and bringing down governments. Black Lives Matter is a far-left Marxist organization funded in part by the Nazi sympathizer George Soros, and it aimed to dismantle the establishment. Don't forget that fascism is a left-wing ideology, and community leaders like Khan should stop shit-stirring and race-baiting and name-calling and do more to bring people together. And let's remember that it was white countries, led by Great Britain and followed closely by America and France, who fought wars and died in their tens of thousands to bring an end to slavery. How many black countries have done that? See ya.